Welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about investing in the gun hobby and why you should do it. You should definitely invest into the gun hobby. Take a look at the market, look at what's going on. There's definitely money to be made here, and I'm not talking about, buying and selling on a gun store basis. I'm just talking about when you buy a weapon, you should buy something that holds some value, and when you buy it, have a plan kind of to sell it. Or if you buy a weapon that's going up in value. There's a lot of examples out there. You should definitely think about this when you're making your decision to buy your next gun. I know a lot of people like new stuff. I do too. I love new stuff, but when you buy something new, as we all know, it goes down in value after you sell it. Sometimes that's not the case though. Let's take a look at let's look at the Saiga and what else? What else? The Saiga, the Veprs, the Tulas and Izmash rifles that came over from Russia, and I think it was after 2010, like that era. I think as when those rifles came out. They could have been coming prior to that. Don't quote me, but I just remember that time period of when those rifles were beginning to be popular and they were brand new, and you could pick one up from like $1,000 to $1,200 from most retailers. And now those rifles are fetching $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8,000. Imagine if you bought one back then and you were looking to upgrade your rifle. Let's say you bought one of those. A couple years later, you want to buy, I don't know, Daniel Defense M4, or you wanted to buy a Knights Armament SR15, right? Some of those rifles are expensive. So if you were to buy your rifle back then, which I'm sure we all wish we could, it would be worth a lot today. Same thing of like buying an old car or buying, certain clothing, stuff like that. That's prominent in the gun industry. Just a lot of people don't see it. And it's really easy to pick this sort of stuff out. That was a great example, those AK rifles. I mean, I think it's still beneficial if you were to buy one today, but let's get into it. You can really invest in most areas of the gun hobby. Anything from rifles, pistols, magazines, even parts kits, ammo. Really, there's a lot of things you can invest in. So you can invest in every single little part of the hobby. I'll start with rifles. Here's an example. 2013, 2014, I wanted to get in the gun hobby. I was probably 13, 14 years old, and I told my dad about it all the time. This is my first rifle he bought me at a sports store, $75. Back in 2013, 2014, nobody knew that this was going to be a $300, $400, $500 rifle today. Now, this isn't anything special. This is just your standard 9130. I think the date on this is 1942. I think it's a Izmash. Yep, Izmash rifle. Nothing special about it really. But back then, I remember they were bringing them in surplus. Every gun store had them. You couldn't give them away. And now look at them. And that's just a great example right there of, if you were to buy that, have something to go hunting with, something to go shooting with, something cheap, only to find out that a couple years later it'd actually be worth some money. So if you wanted to upgrade your rifle, which this is a great rifle, it's not bad at all. This was a great investment. I'm not going to sell it just because it has sentimental value. I've shot a lot with my dad and have great times with it. So, but if you were that type of person where something like that doesn't hold sentimental value to you, then now is a great opportunity to get rid of something like that, because it's gained value, and you probably would have paid for all the ammo that you used shooting it by selling it. And not only that, you can upgrade or do whatever you want once you sell it. Another example with this is the ammo. We bought spam cans, I think $80, $90 a piece. The 440 rounds, 7.62x54R. Now those are going for $250. I've seen some on the cheaper side, but in that area. And just right there, you could have bought this rifle and a bunch of ammo, shot it. You could have bought, let's say back then, $75 for the rifle. Yeah, sure, tax and whatever, but let's just say $80 for the rifle. Another 80, you could have bought 3 spam cans, shot up one of the spam cans, had 2 left over, had this rifle, and still, he would have came out on top. You probably could have sold the whole kit for, I don't know, $600, and that's on the retail side. That's gun broker prices. You could have sold it for $500 and made yourself a sweet profit, just to put towards your next build. The thing is, you know, like I said, we're not trying to make $1 million here. We're just people that enjoy the hobby, and we don't want to, you know, we're not trying to lose money like every time we buy something. Take, for example, like a Glock 19 Gen 5. Let's say you went out today and bought one. The second you buy it, it's just like a new car. It drops in value. If you wanted to go sell that, even if it was brand new, you never put a round down the pipe or anything, you're going to lose your money. Now, something like this, you buy it, and you know it's going to go up in value. Another example is right here. This is a rifle. I traded my dad for this rifle. I gave him a Rock Island 1911 and a Gen 4 Glock 21, and he gave me this. It's a Smith & Wesson M&P 10, so 308. It's got ambidextrous mag release and ambidextrous bolt release. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if that's standard on the M&P versions or if that's just for this rifle, but it came with this EOTech. I think it's a 512. I'm not sure, but you know, one of the bigger, bulkier ones. Not, you know, it's less desirable, but I don't even think we've shot it, honestly. But this was back, he bought this back in like 2015, 2016 maybe. It was on sale, $1,000 with the EOTech out the door. Came with 2 PMags, and then yeah, that was about it. But I'm sure this rifle I could fetch $1,500 or even $2,000 as it sits. You guys can call me a dreamer if you want, but you know, just the new ones, the sport versions, you know, the little bit cheaper versions, they're going for like I think $1,000, and they don't come with an optic. But yeah, that's another good example of a rifle. I've also got a this is a T56. This is one of the Chinese Mosins with the short barrel and the folding bayonet. Another rifle. I think we only paid like $100 a piece for this one. And again, these the new. If you're trying to buy one now, you know, you're still looking at $300, $400, $500 for something like this. And you know, this was just me and my dad just trying to have some fun, go to the range, and you know, not break the bank while we do it. And now look, these rifles are worth a lot, but you know, I'm not gonna get rid of them. But that just goes to show. I mean, the key word here is rarity. They're not making more of these M91 rifles. They're not making more of those T56 rifles. Now, 308 AR-15s, sure, yeah, I'm sure you could build one for way less than $1,000. But it's I mean, we could all build it, but the thing is, it's like, okay, Smith & Wesson, right? This is a Smith & Wesson M&P 10, so someone could pay some good money for it, you know. Like I said, but I like to stay towards something they're definitely not making anymore. So the 9130s, you know, those are just some examples of rifles. So I'm gonna get into, you know, rifles are good, you know. Pistols, I mean, I could get into some pistols, but it's pretty easy to see. Like I said, rarity. Some more things, like here's an example of a magazine. We've all seen these AK-47 Bakelights, right? I remember back, like I said, back in that time period, 2013, 2014, I've seen these go for $30, $40 a pop, $50 maybe, and slowly I've seen them go up in value. Now this is an unissued AK-47 Bakelite, Tula. Not sure about the dates and the design of it. I just know that it's unissued, beautiful condition. I paid $100 for that. Was that outrageous? I'm not sure. I've seen them all go on Gunbroker, 125, 150, maybe even on the cheaper side, $80. I got a couple of those. I got some of the AK-74 ones here. These ones are a little bit rougher condition. These have definitely seen use. Came with the pouch. I think I paid $230 for this with the pouch, 4 magazines. But I could definitely get some money out of this. Now I don't have an AK rifle. I bought these just because for the cool factor, and plus they hold value. And I'm sure in a couple of years I could fetch way more than I paid for either of these items. Other magazines, you know, AR-15. Maybe you don't have an AK. Like I said, I don't have one, but most people have an AR. The steel mags, I don't think I'd pay more than $10 for these. You know, magazines, I that's something I feel like I'd stockpile, kind of like ammo. When there was the ammo crisis, there's always ammo, but then ammo crisis hits and prices jump. I feel like I could see that in the future with all the things going on with the ATF with magazines. So I remember I was at PSA not too long ago. I'm not sure if it's the same on their website, but I was at their store location and they had polymer magazines. They weren't PMag, but they were just PSA, like cheap brand, for $9.99. And there was not a limit on those. So I would definitely buy out magazines, even if you're not going to use them, just because they're valuable. Here's an example right here, Uzi magazine, brand new from 1980. I bought this at a gun show. I could definitely see this going up in value too. But that's more of like a personalized item, and I want to get into that too. A lot of people have AKs, a lot of people have ARs, but not a lot of people are shooting an Uzi, right? Not everyone has a Uzi. It's not a common, not too common of a weapon. Thing about that is that's where you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you're buying something like, let's say, like 303 British, the ammo for it, or let's say you're buying 8mm Mauser. Some of those more kind of very, I don't even know, I'm not sure how I would put it, but kind of specific things. They don't cover a broad spectrum. These are going to be guys that are like collectors or enthusiasts that want something like that. So, and I know those ammo prices are, all over the place, but I can guarantee you, if you would have bought it even just 2-3 years ago, you'd make yourself a good profit, because a lot of that, not a lot of companies really produce that stuff, because like I said, there's not a lot of guys shooting it. When there's not a lot of people shooting it, it can be harder to sell. Like I said, it's a good place to put your money. Ammo, like I said, even with the spam cans, the 7.62 by 54R, nobody knew that stuff was going to go to the moon, and the price was just going to be outrageous for this stuff. I mean, you spend, I don't know, $300-400 excuse me, you spend $300-400 back then, it could net you $1,200 today. Now, we all wish we go back and do that, but the opportunities are still here. And with all this pending legislation and all this crazy stuff, now is the time to get in on stuff like this. Simple things, magazines. Every week you could go spend $10 on a magazine, $12 on a magazine. Not sure what it is. Like I said, I wouldn't pay more than $10 for this. Now, like I said, years ago, I was at a gun show, saw these things going for $5 a piece. If you can get that, that's awesome. But I wouldn't pay more than $10 for that, just because I've seen how readily available they are. But if you can't find them for $10 a piece, then get what you can. That's the important thing here. Is I'm not trying to tell you to go clean out the store, but buy a couple extra next time you go to the gun shop or something, because it will pay off for you. And I definitely don't see prices of magazines getting any cheaper. So definitely magazines, definitely rifles, and then parts kits. I bought back in like 2017, I bought a parts kit for, an Uzi. That's why I have this magazine, is because I bought the parts kit for the Uzi. And it was like $250, $300. And I wasn't buying it to invest in. I just bought it because I wanted to build me a Uzi pistol. And I have the 80% receiver for it. I got most of the parts. I don't have a barrel, but regardless, that kit now with the 80% receiver, I got two 25-round magazines, and I have this one. And if I sold that together, it'd probably be worth around, I'd say $400 or $500. And just right there, I spent $50 on this magazine, unopened. I paid probably another $20 a piece for the 25-round magazines. And $250 for the kit, I think. So all in all, I could sell it for probably $400 or $500. But that's if someone's willing to buy it. That's another thing. Like I said earlier, that's a very specific item. Not everyone's looking for a Uzi kit. Not everyone's looking for a I don't know, like a Russian East German AK kit. That's very specific things. Another kit was I remember the Vietnam M16s, the Colt M16 kits. I remember they were $250 to $300 on like every gun parts website, and you could pick them up. You couldn't give them away. And now they're fetching $700, $800, and you can't find them anywhere. And that was another example. of just, you could have bought that kit 4 years ago and doubled, if not tripled, your money on that. So, but if you want to start investing, I would definitely say start looking at the Glock kits, those Glock 80% receiver kits. Buy those, because with all this legislation nonsense, and in Hawaii they already passed that you can't build a weapon without a serial number. Start buying these 80% kits. Start buying that 80% AR receivers. Start buying common stuff. You know, everything I've talked about here is kind of niche. That's the word I'm looking for, is niche. If you want to invest broad spectrum, start getting jigs. Start getting strip lowers. Start getting 80%, all that sort of stuff. One I would hit on is AK 80%. Not a lot of people talk about those. Those might start popping up. You never know. But yeah, definitely invest in the jigs. Definitely invest in the tooling. Definitely invest into just 80% kits in general. Those are gonna be worth a lot of money. Once if we hear about legislation coming down, passing through the House or something like that, that stuff is going to be worth a lot of money. So that's a good place to invest your money. Plus, if you get stuck with it, there, you got yourself an 80% kit. You can build your own firearm and learn a thing or two. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. You know, one more thing. If you're still unsure, take a look at this. Take a look at machine guns, pre-1986 machine guns, class 3s, ones that all civilians can own without, you know, all the class 7 licensing and SOT nonsense. Pre-86 machine guns, right? A couple years ago, MAC-10s, Uzis, you know, going for a couple thousand. Now they're reaching $7, $8, even like $12,000 for that sort of stuff. Class 3 is always going to go up in value because they're not making any more of it. And that's the whole point here, is buy stuff that, one, they're not going to be making any more of, two, might not be able to make any more of, such as, like I said earlier, the 80% Glocks and 80% AR receivers. But try to find something that is somewhat broad spectrum, somewhat not. Like I said, these 91 rifles, these 9130 rifles, pretty generalized, pretty broad spectrum. But something like this Uzi magazine, you know, not that broad spectrum. That's more of like a niche item. The Bakelite AK magazines, this is more of a broad spectrum item. A lot of people have AKs. But then there's not a lot of people that are like enthusiasts about it. You know, the whole point of the Bakelite is that it's rare and it looks way cooler. It's robust, and there's a lot of history behind it. So just try to keep that sort of stuff in mind when you're investing. Keyword is rare. Keyword is not buying stuff that they don't make anymore. I can't stress that enough. But I promise you, if you just watch prices, watch what's going up in value. The stuff that's going to go up in value will likely always go up in value, unless they start making something again, unless they were miraculously starting to change import laws. I doubt you can go wrong by buying yourself a Russian imported AK, buying yourself a rifle that they don't make anymore. It's just the nature of the game. That's with everything. Like I said, that's with real estate, stocks, other niche markets that people pay for as things get older. So you can definitely invest your money wisely in the gun hobby and still come out on top. Like I said, you don't have to always lose money on every deal. Now, if you really can't afford it and you have to go, if you really can't afford stuff like, which I definitely understand, like if you have to buy like a $400 or $500 AR to, you know, to practice with and go shoot with and enjoy the hobby with, then by all means. But just remember, you could spend $300 or $400 on something like this, or you could buy. I mean, I've seen a couple SKSs, you know, go for $400 or $500. You know, that's pushing it. They're starting to go up too. But buy something that's going to go up in value, and when it comes time to really upgrade, or you think there's a good time that you can make some money on something, go ahead and do it. Make money on something and put that towards the next item going up in value. So just do some research, take a look at things. If the main thing is remembering what was cheap. You know, a lot of new gun owners don't remember what was cheap and is now expensive. So like I said, do your research, ask around, and it's pretty easy to see what goes up and down in value. It really is. Just watch the market, just eyeball the market and watch everything like a hawk. You'll see it. It's not that hard. So, but yes, please, I hope somebody gained something from this video. I really hope I help somebody out. And I hope that people that have stuff like this may have realized that they have something. I'm not trying to gouge the market. I see it all the time. Like, you go on Armsless Gun Broker, people are asking $1 million for what they have, but I want people to know that you also don't have to lose money on the stuff you buy. Yeah, that's really it. Like I said, I hope you guys got something from this video. If you liked it, just please leave a like, please leave a comment. I want to interact with people, so I want to discuss this a little bit more. We can go over other issues, go over other topics. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys learned something from this.